Whew, that's a lot of new terms to remember, isn't it? Don't worry though, you'll get the hang of it, and every bookkeeper has to go through this. It's kind of like a rite of passage to becoming a bookkeeper boss, like surviving the tribal council on one of those survival shows, only there's no immunity from payroll. Let's hear from another bookkeeping boss regarding the importance of payroll and why it matters.
Payroll is extremely important and must be accurate. Of course, the ultimate role of what payroll does is to give money to employees, basically a thank you for the hard work that they have done. So, of course, it should be accurate because that just relays competence and gratitude to employees first and foremost. But also, it needs to be accurate because of all of the compliance around payroll that the government requires, whether it's state, local, federal governments, those all need to be accurate so that reports can be given to them, taxes can be paid, and so on and so forth. So, all of that is extremely important. We also want to make sure that an employee is getting the right information on their reports as well, because of course that's going to affect them very personally. More often than not, that is going to be one of the biggest factors as they are filing their own taxes at the end of the year. Their W-2, which is the report they get at the end of the year showing what they have been paid and also what has happened as far as payroll taxes are concerned. All that's really important. So when that information is messed up, you really can potentially affect the home life of an employee. And that is not something that I think any employer wants to do. So all of those things are important. What should be happening on a very regular basis is that those pieces of information that are being put into a system that is going to be calculating the payroll, that information should be reviewed. There are so many areas of payroll that can be quite complex, from the income tax rate calculation. There can be unemployment insurance, and that often changes per year, could potentially change throughout the year, pay frequencies, and so on. You also have state withholding and federal withholding and Social Security, Medicare, and understanding all of those pieces, the acronyms that come up related to payroll. You'll hear FICA and FUTA and SUTA and SUI and state withholding and SWT and FWT. All of those acronyms are really important to understand, as well as understanding what part of payroll is the responsibility of the employee and what is the responsibility of the employer. And often you'll see ER as employer, and that's kind of the acronym or the initials that we give it. And then the employee is EE, just to have some shorthand as we talk about all of these things. But it's really important. One of the things that has been highlighted over the past several years is the importance of all that payroll reporting and the need to make sure that we understand the types of employees we have. And I know we'll be talking about that a little bit later, but it's really important to understand those pieces of it because it is often one of the areas that can be the most confusing for a small business owner. And the bookkeeper can really provide a lot of clarity and comfort to that business owner as they handle that in a way that is competent and confident. And so really understanding all of those parts and pieces is important. And I always give the little hint, take a paycheck, whether it's yours or somebody else's that you're able to legitimately look at, maybe it's your spouse or another person, and look at that paycheck and really understand the pieces of that and how those things are being calculated. It's really important. Not that you need to be doing that manually, but just understanding that overall process so that you're comfortable with it and you're able to be talking about it. That is really what the role needs to be. And again, those compliance pieces are so important because there's a lot of different government entities looking in on that payroll. So making sure that you're confident in understanding all those pieces of it and are able to work with the system that's going to be doing that accurately is extremely important.